Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 2 of 12 Faces of Sober Speaks. I am your host, Kenny Watson. Looking forward to this podcast today. I've been following this young queen and just the energy that she possesses. I definitely had to reach out to her. The good thing about it, too, she's a therapist. And so I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. And I want her to share a little bit more about herself, her background, where she's from, city. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome Sonya.
Thank you. So, my name is Sonya Wood. I am a licensed addiction therapist. I am from a small town called Halifax. It's in the city. Well, I'm sorry, it's in Halifax County. I live in the city of Halifax in Halifax County, but now I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. I have been an addiction therapist for, oh my God, it's going on 9 years this year. Wow, time goes by so fast. I specialize in persons that have addictions such as alcohol use disorder, opiates, marijuana. I mean, any substance related diagnoses, like I have worked with those persons. Um, I got my undergrad degree from North Carolina A&T in Greensboro, Aggie Pride out there to everyone listening. I have a master's degree in counseling. I got my license through the course of me transitioning out and finding out what I wanted to do. So that's a little bit about me right now. I'm currently working as a lead therapist for a program here in the Raleigh area. It's called Wake County Recovery Court Program. People know this drug court, but it's called Recovery Court now, trying to reduce the stigma associated with persons in addiction. So that's what I do now. Been there for going on 5 years. And it's based on my here living, trying to save lives one day at a time. That's a little bit about who I am.
That's what's up. Now, so what are like some advice and some tips that for some people right now that might be kind of straddling the fence that could, honestly admit, well, maybe I have a problem or having too many blackouts from parties and stuff like that. What are some advice to some people like that that may need to seek help from you, if not other services within your company?
Well, that's a very good question. I was watching the news last night, actually, and we were seeing that the increase of alcohol has almost like double, triple. I'm gonna say triple if you ask me. The alcohol stores, the ABC stores have an influx of people coming in, getting alcohol, large quantities. A lot of people are utilizing alcohol as a source to comfort while they're going through the pandemic of not working or being home with the children or whatnot, whatever. So it's more so of a release from the reality of what's going on at this moment. What tips I have for you is that if you find yourself getting up first thing in the morning and want to crack open a beer or drink a shot of liquor or what have you, a glass of wine, then you may should consider thinking about possibly getting treatment. Or if you find yourself going through significant withdrawals or irritability, if you are a person that may can't go a day without having an alcohol beverage or whatever, you may want to consider getting treatment. Or if you find yourself 3 in the afternoon, passed out, lethargic, low energy, just like in a state of just like what time it is, you may want to consider getting some treatment. And I say that because with alcohol, it's something that some people, not all, do not associate as being a drug, right? So because it's so freely purchased in the store, you can get you a beer for $1.09. I mean, of a high quality of alcohol content beer. So how easy is that? It's free. It's free. You can go outside. You can find 4 quarters right now in your car, get you a beer if you want to, or wherever have you. But if it comes to the point where you're doing things to get alcohol, you're always drinking, you blacking out, passing out, or not remember what's going on, then chances are it's the problem. And alcohol is one of those things that it causes a lot of challenges in your overall body. So that's where I'm at with the alcohol within itself.
And seeing that I am a person, like I said, I've been to 4 treatment facilities, one in Virginia, one in Phoenix, one in Minneapolis, and one more. But I'm telling you, I've been there enough. And I would say the most important main reason why I did it was family. And
Okay.
would you suggest, like, if some people, because there are people out here now that are no longer having family, so
Mhm.
how can you reach those type of people that may need the help as well, that may not have have a family member or a friend to reach out to?
Good question. Due to the fact that we are in this pandemic, there are a lot of different type of communication device we can utilize. Like for example, you have like Zoom meetings. You can go to like your phone. You can go to like so many other type of support programs. I know for us at my agency, we utilize the AAN Air lot. Your family should be primary, but sometimes your family can be triggers. It can be enablers.
Mhm.
So if you can find a person, your family of support that you know that's going to support you through the process, by all means, just try to have like daily meet with them on the phone or through Zoom app or through Google Hangout or some other platform where you're able to get the support you need. If you can't get it to your family, you can always reach out to support programs in your area. Alcohol Anonymous is a good one. People tend to utilize a lot. You have Smart Recovery, Celebrate Recovery. There are a tremendous amount of resources out here now. And also there are certain websites you can go to. I know the one we use here is the divisions of Health and Human Services. They give us different platforms to utilize as well. So try to find your local LME, which stands for local management entity. They have like a lot of resources on their website as well. But definitely try to find a person that supports you and love you, that know you're going through what you're going through, that can support you and not be judgmental while you're going through the process, because it can be a little difficult and overwhelming for them as well.
And so how would you handle someone that's more or less court appointed over someone that's voluntary?
Now you speaking my language. I work in the court system with persons that are appointed to us through probation. The moment we get the client that is resistant and ambivalent, they're not ready to change because we have a tendency to be comfortable living the lifestyle we once lived, not understanding that the things we have been through has caused a lot of turmoil and distress in our lives. When a person is going through a period of sobriety that's forcefully doing it, we have to give them a period to get adjusted and meet them where they are. Now, chances are we have like a 30-day sobriety period, but I always encourage detox initially before a person get in the program, go to detox, because the brain is still trying to reinvent itself from the long nights up and all the alcohol they've used. So we try to get them to a point to where they're able to have a conversation about what they're going through, to where they can able to be more present in the process. Those persons who are undone come there involuntarily. The voluntary clients, they're more like, I'm ready to get sober, Miss Sonya. I want to know what I can do. They're very what's the word I'm looking for? They're very motivated, but are they committed to the process? The motivation comes because my husband said I need to get sober, or my wife, or my children here. But in the same token, what do you want to do? So trying to find an understanding of what are their goals and core values through the course of what they're trying to understand, and then we have a better outcome. But I've had a lot of success more with the involuntary clients than the voluntary clients, actually.
Yeah, that's that. I would say I was kind of on both ends, not necessarily court appointed. It was I had a run in Phoenix back in I think it was 2008, and it more or less kind of gave me the wake up call and was like, now, okay, can you continue to drink? It's going to be longer than you spending 16 hours in jail. Yeah. So I think that, with you answering that kind of hits it on the head, because for me, I was in relationships as well. I mentioned in my book, 12 Faces of Sober, in terms of like, there were some people who was like, okay, in order for me to save the relationship, I had to go to the alcohol classes. In order for the marriage to work, I had to stop drinking. But then sometimes when you have people that are enablers that are like right there, like, okay, I don't want you to drink, but here's the alcohol. Right. So it's good to hear those type of answers. Like I said, a lot of people don't get this, don't get the opportunity to speak from this side, on it. So I do appreciate, you coming on here and sharing the information. I want to shift it for 1 second because we're going to come back to this topic, but okay. I would like for you to tell me more about your podcast and when did you come across your medical condition?
Okay. Thank you for that question. So I am 1/3 co-host of a podcast called Crohn's Veteran. I am one of the co-hosts. The founder's name is Jordan McConnell, And CJ Cabero, he's also one of the secondary person that came on the podcast before I did. I was invited by CJ to join the podcast. I think it was May of 2020. And how that happened was I am a person that has an irritable disease called Crohn's disease, diagnosed in 2011. That is one of the topics that people do not know a lot about, especially in the African American community. Crohn's disease affects, for me, from the mouth to the anal cavities of the whole body. That's part of the overall GI tract within itself. However, I'm in remission for the past year now. Go, kudos to me. Yes, sir. Awesome to that. So I was oftentimes working as a professional and as a therapist, and I was helping everybody else, but I wasn't helping myself with my medical condition. I feel like if I can go ahead and save lives, I'd be okay. But I was holding my own pain and stress inside. So I developed a page called Crohn's and Sexy because I wanted people to show them that I have an irritable disease, but that is not defining me. I still am true to who I am as an individual. And at that moment, I started to find people that looked like me, that had brown skin like me, that were females. Beforehand, I had nobody that looked like me. And that's how I became into the irritable disease community. And that's how I became a part, 1/3 co-host of the Crohn's Veteran podcast. The guys saw me, they said they loved my energy. I was invited to come over for like a little interview, like a little run through. And after that, I just got hired on this spot. So shout out to the Crohn's Veterans. I see you guys, salute to you. So that's kind of how that story worked out.
And see that's there's another reason why I had you on this podcast, Sonya, because my best friend, Sean Mitchell, he actually has Crohn's as well. And like I said, he has told me I need to have, these type of people on the show. So I'm 100% sure he will definitely follow your podcast just because of that. So just that. But also, you already mentioned it, but what truly motivated you? Like, it's like you said, there's some people that don't like to address their medical issues or are more or less embarrassed, but you're actually out here talking about it. So what motivated you to do that?
Let me see. I want to get emotional. What motivated me to become a Crohn's or IBD advocate was, I want to say myself and my mom. My mom is oh my God, she's a support person for me. Day one diagnosis, she was there. Hospitalizations, surgery, she was there. Like she's always been there, always calling me, checking on me. So I was like, you know what? I have to have another person support me because I didn't want her to develop the word compassion fatigue for me, where she's so burned out to where she stopped caring about what I have going on. Like I've seen it before. So my motivation came from that. And I said, I can't be the only person living like this. I got to find somebody to live like me. So that motivated me. I played around with it. The stigma was still there. I was afraid. Don't get it wrong. Like, well, oh my God, you got Crohn's. Oh my God, what can you not do? What is going on with you? Like all those stigmas. But those was all of my personal self-conscious and insecurities that I have within myself. But the motivation came from my mom, myself, then the community. And now I've also came a part of an ambassador for Color of Crohn's and chronic illnesses, which stands for COCHI, which is the African Americans who are embracing the overall IBD community. So that's kind of sort of where that motivation came from in regards to how I became Miss Crohn's and Sexy on Instagram. On Instagram, I have two worlds. Like I live two worlds or something. I don't know.
And I really think it's like super dope because like, I've started to really and truly embrace this sober lifestyle because at first it was more or less like, okay, they know Kenny, the party animal, they know Kenny, the drunk guy. So for me to continue to be sober and be sober this long, it's like, okay, yeah, this guy is not playing around anymore. So
definitely.
And like I said, it's the same way too, even when you said the motivation too. My mom is like my biggest supporter. Okay. And I know that I need to have more than just that. So I have, like I said, my best friend, and we're going through the sobriety journey together. I have a little bit more time than he does, but it's like we kind of bounce off of each other. Even though he's in San Diego, I'm out here. He just found a way to get out here. So like I said, you're absolutely correct. When you have that extra person or someone that is there, that's helping, that's supportive, and
Definitely.
sometimes be able to, like you said, your mom said, okay, I already know that you did this before. So, but she still knows that you're doing good. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
right.
that's what it is. Because even my mom, she's not super duper expressive in terms of like,
Mm,
but I know that she knows I'm doing good. So, but yeah.
exactly.
Now back to this alcohol thing.
Okay.
Now, like I said, I'm in recovery, and I
Mhm,
don't have a problem with you know being outspoken in terms of speaking against and speaking out with this stuff.
mhm.
Now, there aren't people that aren't like that. So, what would be more or less like how should it be addressed in the African American community? Alcoholism, because that's a part of mental health. But how is that like? How should it truly be addressed or talked about? Because it seems to be the cliche of what we're used to doing. But how can we be more aware of that topic?
Okay, that's a very good question. And the fact you mentioned about the mental health, the African American community, alcohol in the community is one that I think will be an ongoing battle because of the freedom of drinking, or when you have alcohol always available to you at a convenience store. When the ABC store closes, the alcohol is still present. But in our communities, I really think that we have to remove the, excuse my language, but the ignorance at times, and saying that we know when a person is drinking alcohol too much. We know when it's affecting our families, our loved ones, what maybe even you, or maybe even me. We know when these things happen. So just being open and to have a conversation with your loved one if you see a change in them, and the loved one being receptive to the conversation without being judged. I think the judgment piece is what really causes a significant barrier between the communication lines of trying to get help, or you tell me what to do. I'm grown. I can have alcohol.
Yeah,
It's free. I ain't got no problem with alcohol, but yet and still, you are not able to go to work every day. Wake up with a hangover. You wake up with your hands are shaking. You wake up where you may be throwing up. You may have a chronic diarrhea. You may have anxiety, the night sweats. You have all of these things going on. You gotta go for 2 days and get your body back right again. You might have a seizure from lack of alcohol. You might need to go to the hospital because your pancreas have shut down, your kidneys, your liver. All of these things are tapped into with the alcohol, but yet and still, it's not a problem, it's my body. And it's the family disease. We think that the addiction affects us individually, but it's a family disease. It's not only about what you're doing, because I love you as my brother, as my sister, as my cousin. You're hurting yourself, so you're hurting me. So removing the ego, removing the self-centeredness, removing the fact that I'm grown, and to become more vulnerable and understand people love you and want to help you out. Not trying to tell you what to do, but only want to save your life if you allow us the opportunity to do that. But
yeah,
that's something to be going on for a long period of time. Because I mean, something going on for a long period of time. It takes a while to get those things even to be talked about.
yeah. 'Cause I can openly admit that pancreatitis. If you guys haven't heard of it, pancreatitis is no joke. I spent 9 days in the hospital, gained about 35 to 40 pounds, and lost it
Steroids.
all within 9 days. It's painful, and I still continue to drink after that. So
Mm-hmm.
just know that she's not lying about a lot of this stuff. And that's why I'm truly glad that you came on here to educate people, because a lot of people, like you said, there's not people like looking like us is out here
Yes,
talking about this and the awareness about it, and it's good for people to hear it. And like I
definitely.
said, Sonya, I really do appreciate you coming
Thank
on.
you.
And before we go, I want you, if you don't mind, to at least bless my audience with something. Like I said, my audience is wide range, but I'm more or less focusing on the sober community. But
Mm-hmm.
if you can give them some type of advice to leave them with, because any good advice is better than none at all.
Definitely. And you know what, Kena, thank you for even having me up here. This has been awesome for me as well. Me working with persons that are in the recovery world, newly trying to get sober, like this is my passion, this is my purpose. Like I got chill bumps talking about it. Like it motivates, like it gives me fire. Like I can't even describe how I feel right now, because this is like what I do, is what I love. The word of encouragement I have is that no matter what you're going through, you can get through it. Having a they call it because success level. Addiction is an illness. It is a medical condition, of course. They science says that. Having a challenge to where you feel as if that no one understands you, they do. Don't be afraid to look out and ask for help. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable, to be transparent, but always know that you're not alone in this process. Addiction is an insidious disease. It will steal from you. It don't care if you eat. It don't care if you live. It don't care where you stay. It don't care who love you. All it want you to know is that I need you to be with me. It's your best friend. But when you learn that you're able to have freedom and be sober without having that particular thing to help you, you would know that you can get through this. But having a support system is very important. And just know that this disease is not here to keep you alive. It's here to hurt you and harm you. But life can be so beautiful if you just go ahead and submit and get the help you need and know that people out here do want to see you thrive and survive. That's my words of encouragement I have for you. If anybody ever have any questions, I can always be reached on my social media platform, or I'm very discreet. I follow a strict code of ethic. Me being a therapist, I'm very confidential. I don't just share a lot of stuff about people. Myself, yes. Others, no. But just know that we do want to help you. And Mr. Watson here is a great person there since he had his podcast going on. So I want to give him a congratulations too. But that's the words I have for your community right now, Mr. Watson.
Well, Sonya, I wanted to let you know that I gave up my best friend about 4 years ago. And trust me, life has been so much better. And I know, and I look forward to what is going to take me past today. I know it's going to be good. And like I said, once again, thank you for coming on my show. I really do appreciate it. I'm pretty sure that we'll definitely be doing some type of work soon in the future, because this is one of those manifestations that needed to happen. And like I said, I was glad when I hit you with the message. You're like, I'm looking for. I'm like, wow, I've been reached out to a lot of people and no one's had that type of response. So I already knew that this was going to be a great conversation.
Thank
you.
So
I really do appreciate it. And to my listeners, like I said, tune in 12 Faces of Sober on YouTube. You can follow me as well on Facebook. 12 Faces of Sober, IG 12 Faces of Sober. This is going to continue. I'm going to have any great guests on the show like this because it's really important for the professionals to tell it and not just a person like myself. This is 12 Faces Sober Speaks, Ron Uncut. And thank you again for being on my show, Miss Sonya. I really do appreciate it.